Hi everybody, it's Christina. Welcome back to Adventures in Polish Land and happy Friday to you. And today's Friday Reads, I wanted to share what videos I uploaded this week, a reading update, and then I wanted to chat briefly about the Booker Prize. So let's jump right in. I was able to upload 2 other videos this week, the first one being a review of The Reckless Oath We Made by Bryn Greenwood, which I read for a book set in the state of Kansas for the American Lit Reading Challenge. And I also uploaded my August TBR video, and in that video I share an update of where I am in the challenge. I printed out a map, I colored it in, and I gave a little bit of a rundown on how I am going to accomplish my goal by the end of the year. So I will leave both of those videos linked in the description box below if you missed them and you want to check them out. As for reading, I finished one book and I have started another. The book that I finished was The Guncle. This is by Stephen Rowley. This is a story about a man who is taking care of his niece and nephew over the course of the summer in Palm Springs, where he lives. His sister-in-law recently passed away and his brother is going to treatment for addiction, and so he is being tasked with caring for the kids over the summer. Now, he is single, he doesn't have any kids, he doesn't really know how to take care of kids, and he's also not close with his niece and nephew because they live in Connecticut. But throughout the course of the novel, you see how he becomes a really loving uncle, and also how taking care of the children helps him deal with his own grief from losing his partner Joe several years back, because he's never really come to terms with what that loss meant to him and how he can move forward in order to have more closure, but also just moving forward in all aspects of his life with his career and perhaps a new romantic interest as well. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. My favorite part was definitely Patrick, the uncle's banter with the niece and nephew. I found he was really no nonsense. He didn't really mind that they were children. He just talked to them like adults, which I thought was funny, but also really clever. The book did drag on a little bit for me near the end, and there were a few side plots that I thought were unnecessary and were kind of left hanging, but overall really enjoyable. I'm glad I read this. Finally, it's been on my want to read list for quite a while now, since I saw it on Instagram a few years ago. Now I am currently reading the Townsend Family Recipe for Disaster. This is by Shauna Robinson. This is about a young woman named May. She is currently planning her wedding with her fiance, and she is marrying into a white wealthy family who are owners of a wedding venue, so they are pulling out all the bells and whistles during the wedding planning process, and she feels a little overwhelmed. She also feels a little bit embarrassed because her fiance's family is very big. They have a ton of people attending the wedding, and she really doesn't have much family that she is close with at all. She had a white mother and a black father, and she's not really close with her mother's side of the family, and her father's side of the family was estranged, and he had passed away years ago. And so she is hopeful that she can reconnect with her father's side of the family and have them attend her wedding. So right now I'm about 90 pages into the book, and she is actually in North Carolina, where her father's family is from, and she went there for her grandmother's funeral and is trying to build some bridges and reconnect with her relatives. So I'm enjoying this book so far. Very easy to read, and I am hopeful that I can read a lot of this over the weekend. That's what I have been up to this week in terms of my YouTube and my reading. And I've also been watching a lot of videos about the Booker Prize Longlist that just came out. I tend to enjoy books that make it to the long list and short list, but I don't necessarily read them purposefully. And what I mean by that is when a long list comes out, I don't sit down and read the long list, or I don't sit down and read the short list, or I don't even read the winner purposefully every single year. But I love to watch videos about book prizes, and this one especially. So I'm going to leave a couple of videos linked in the description box below that I would recommend. One of them is from Gunpowder Fiction and Plot. He did a blind reaction to the list. His wife read out the names, and he told you right away his initial reaction, which I thought was funny and helpful. And then I'm also going to leave a video from Supposedly Fun, linked below. I think he did a really good job recapping all of the nominees and sharing what he thought on whether or not he would read those books. Some of them sound really interesting to me. I especially want to read The Renovation and John of John. And I know that Patricia Lockwood is one of the judges this year, and she is one of my all-time favorite authors. Even though I didn't love her last release, her memoir Priest-Daddy and her first novel, No One Is Talking About This, are some of my all-time favorite books. So I find that this year I am a bit more intrigued to pay attention to the Booker Longlist, just because I know one of my favorite authors is picking the books. I would love to know your thoughts. Are you intrigued by the Booker Prize? Do you follow this prize at all? And are there any books on the long list that you are especially excited to read? Let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'm going to keep this video pretty short this week because I would like to go and read my book and enjoy my weekend. I hope you are doing the same, and let me know what you are reading in the comments. Bye.